Hey guys, how's it going? So I'm going to show you guys very quickly, guys and girls, from Brent's stock group and whoever else is watching this, a comparison between putting $1,000 in a stock. In this case, we're going to use INO because I had a very good experience with INO this year, as some of you may know. And we're only going to risk $1,000 in this hypothetical scenario. We can't lose more than 1,000 on the left side, which is just buying the underlying asset or the stock INO at its current price of $11.52 today, versus buying the options contract on INO August 2021, $30 calls. So total amount we could lose in both cases is $1,000. And I'll share this Excel spreadsheet with you guys so you can plug in your own symbols and be able to plug in your own underlying assets versus the option and see potential profits versus potential losses of buying the asset versus buying the option. So we're going to go here to Ameritrade, and this is actually my second attempt to make this video because on the first attempt I could not get the formulas to work, and it did go up a little bit. We're still going to use the old numbers, which was, I don't know, 1142 a few minutes ago. So I'm going to click INO right now, and it's going to say options chain. And this options chain is going to pop up. And what I'm going to do is hit calls out of the money. That's just what I like. I like out of the money because you only need to be right 1 out of 50 times, let's say, to basically break even. If you're right 2 out of 50 times or 3 out of 50 times, you're going to make a lot of money. And what I'm going to do is going to go down to this 178 call. And the last was 190. But hypothetically, for our situation, I just assumed it was $2. So like, let's say I put in a buy order, one contract of INO at $2, and you'll see it's going to do times 100. So each options contract equals 100 shares. Just remember that. So it's 200. So our total investment's 1,000. We're going to ignore the 65-cent commission for now. Excuse me. So 1,000 divided by 200 is 5, right? So we can get 5 contracts. Those 5 contracts basically mean we can buy INO between now and August 20th, 2021 at $30 regardless of the price of INO. Even if INO is 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 200, it doesn't matter. We're paying basically $30 a share, and we're able to buy it, plus this premium, which would bring our cost to about $32 a share. So if I press place now, it'll probably fill. It'll charge me $200. I'm not going to do that because I've been doing that a lot today. Okay, so let's go back now and see the difference. So here, $1,000 divided by INO's price, $11.52, gets us 86 shares. And as you can see, obviously, if it goes down, we're losing $86 every dollar goes down. But if it goes up, you know, hypothetically, you can make, if it's $83, then $72.50. And your profits would be $62.50. So that's about 600% or 6.2x, right? Now we're going to compare that to the options price. So 1,000 divided by 200 is 5. You get 5 options contracts. So the way options work is that, keep this in mind as a side note, every day that time goes by, you lose about 1% of the option value. So basically, if your option is worth, let's say, $1,000, one day goes by, your option's worth only $9.90 now. On the second day, it's only worth maybe $9.80. This is assuming the price doesn't change. On the third day, it's worth $9.70. This is assuming that INO just stays at $11.52, doesn't go down, doesn't go up, just stays the same. Why do we not care about this? I'll show you why in a second. So typically an option, between the price and the strike price, you don't need the price to actually get to 30 to be profitable. The second it hits $12.52, you already made 3 times or 2.5 times approximately the amount that you would have made just holding the asset. At $13.52, you're making a little bit more. So up until the point where it hits the strike price of $30, you are still basically getting about 2.5 times what you would have made if you just bought the underlying asset. So where does the fun begin? The fun begins when it actually crosses the $30 mark. I'll just give you one example. I bought some BlackBerry options when it was around $6, the underlying price, for a $10 strike price, which is kind of far away. So like people would say like, oh, is that even possible? Yeah, BlackBerry hit 25. I ended up closing up those options at 19. So let me show you how fun this gets. So once you get to this part, ignore these two columns because this is just doing some math formulas for us. But look what happens. Let's say INO goes to $40, and any time between here and here, you can sell your option. You don't need to even exercise it. So for the same $1,000, instead of making 1476, you could just close your options contract, turn your 1,000 into 3618, and keep in mind that these are the profits. So this is in addition to getting your 1,000 back. Yeah, so this is the profits on this side, and this is the profits on this side. So it's right now it's about 3-1, but look what happens. As you go further down and you hit your strike price, now for every single contract you have above the strike price, you make $100. So at 33, which is about $3 above your strike price, you're making an extra 3 times $500. So these numbers are actually a little bit even higher because this is supposed to be up here. So I'm one column off, but whatever, you get the gist of it. So let's say INO hits 35 before the expiration. Instead of making 2604, you make 12,813. Big significant difference. So when I say out of the money options, it means like I'm betting on super drastic, unrealistic changes. So let's say INO goes to 60, which is actually very possible. It's backed by MasterCard, Bill Gates. So at 60, instead of making 42.53, making $27,000. That's assuming that I have like strong diamond hands like Brent, and between here and all the way down here, I don't sell, which is not my philosophy on stocks or options. Like I would definitely, like between here and here, I would probably take profit 6 or 7 times. And there's a mathematical formula that explains why selling the option is not as good or not as efficient as basically shorting the stock while you keep your option. And I'll explain that to you guys on a Zoom call, or you can just ask me. But basically, you don't want to sell your option. You want to hold your options, and then if you want to take profits, you want to short the underlying asset, and you end up making more money that way. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want to go past August 2021 and do nothing, because then your option expires where it's 0. So even if the underlying stock price is like, let's say INO goes to 70, and on buying the stock itself, you would have made $5,000, but you bought the option, so you made $35,000. If you do nothing, if you don't sell the option or exercise it, you lose that money. So yeah, so you get the gist, and we're playing with $1,000, right? Like this kind of like gets to your head because you're like, oh, this is like a big return. So like a lot of things have to go your way. Basically, the stars need to align themselves. But once you win a few bets, right? Like the first options bet I ever won was the following. This is the first one that like opened my eyes. My cousin called me from California. He's like, buy CRM options. CRM was like about 216. Earning calls was that night. Was the same night. I went and paid $75 for a option that said 250 call expiring tomorrow. So I had 1 day. That's it. What happened? After hours, CRM hit 255. The next day, CRM hit 270. I was a rookie. I think it hit actually 276. I was a rookie. And what I did was the next day, I saw this. I was like, whoa, what the hell? $75. I sold it for $13.75 when it was around 255. And keep in mind, when I bought the option was 216. Later that day that I sold my option for $13.75, instead of shorting the stock because I didn't know that strategy, I hadn't read enough information on it. So that $75 became 50-50, I think. So it's like, I don't know, 70x return. So that was the moment where I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I have to learn this. I have to understand this. Like, how does anyone turn 75 bucks into 550? I started going in my head and, I was like, oh, okay, well, what if I add a zero here and add a zero here? I was like, it's possible to make 50 grand. That's how this all started. And then, yeah, on BlackBerry and I know I actually did that, turned about $1,000 into 25,000. Have the Ameritrade fill orders if you'd like to see them. So yeah, that's the basic gist of it. And yeah, you don't need to win every single options bet. If you'd like to have this spreadsheet, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And if anything's unclear, I'm happy to make another revised video. And just to recap really quickly, 1,000 divided by INO's regular price gives you 86 shares. And then 86 shares each time times the price equals your total market value. And your total market value is your profits are your total market value minus your original investment of 1,000. That's how I got these formulas. And for this part, we kind of did it together. Like, we picked the random arbitrary option right now. It's trading somewhere between 156 and 225. And when I say like lowball options, sometimes what you'll see is like the bid is like 20 cents on an option, which means $20. And the ask is like, I don't know, like 140. And you'll see the last was like 1. I'll just go in like, kind of like the Price is Right showcase showdown. I'll go and bid 0.25, like $5 more than the other lowest bid. It's kind of like Price is Right. You saw someone does 89, the other guy's like 90. They made a Family Guy joke about it. So I'll do that sometimes, especially when the market's crashing like today. You'll be able to get like glue options. I was able to get those for 60% off. So I figured if I buy enough of these low-priced, low-ball options, 1 out of 50 hits, and I'm buying them when people are panicking, the odds are in my favor. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this, and see you in the chat group.